But football's become soft like our country has become soft.
And so having said that, I want me some glory hole.
Well, AJ Hawk and Pat McAfee, before we get into our first real show about week 1 of the season, I need, for the sake of us, to do a little self-scouting, break down the all-22s from our NFL preview show, and work on some coaching points. Namely, we spent the week at number 1 on iTunes in sports, but we were only number 2 in all categories. And by the way, TED Talk, you can eat a dick. We are gunning for you, TED Talks. Those are boring, and they're nothing but insurance seminars that people think are going to change their lives. So we've got to do better at that. We've got to coach it better. We got to talk it better. We got to prep it better. Thoughts?
My thoughts are this. I was very lucky to be on the show with you guys. Old balls. I thought you did a great job driving the ship last week. We got the number 2 behind Ted. Now, when my show debuted on iTunes, we got the number 2 overall as well, and we lost to Richard Simmons when he was fake-ass missing. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I'm sorry. Who's not going to worry about Richard Simmons?
Well, it was a lie,
when
though,
you're
Jerry.
coming on with your shenanigans.
Jerry, it was all a lie. So between Richard and Ted, I'm about sick of these dudes, and I think this is our week to really shine. I'm proud of us. I think this is our week.
It was a good. Did you hear the podcast? That was a good Richard Simmons podcast, though. Did you listen to the whole series?
No, I didn't listen, AJ. It was fucking me over. What are you doing?
Doesn't matter. It was great content, man. It was fake, whatever. Allegedly, he's suing now because they said he was transitioning. He's not. So it's a great story. It's all right. No shame in being beat out by Richard Simmons.
Listen.
And also, just put a pin in that. So if we should start to feel we're losing some audience, one of us goes missing. I'd say probably the most effeminate among us.
Yep,
and,
Jerry.
The one
Jerry,
who wears the most tank tops.
Oh, me.
And,
You're talking about me.
Have you ever had a perm?
Listen, I have had a perm. I've also dyed my hair chocolate cherry before. I've been M&M blonde a few times. I can dance. I do a lot of things that maybe you would question, but I wouldn't mind going missing for a while, to be honest with you. I wouldn't mind going missing for a while. If maybe we could do that. I think it's not a bad idea. I think AJ would miss me a little bit. We've been spending a lot of time together lately, but I do think I would enjoy going missing.
Well, I have sweated to the oldies. So if one of us has to jump on the grenade and disappear for the sake of this show, it's between me and you. But we need Hawk. We absolutely need him.
World needs. What did you do this weekend, Jerry? Because I spent a Saturday with AJ Hawk in Columbus, Ohio, where he has his own name and number on his license plate because some car dealer gave it to him. I was with a legend at Ohio State on Saturday, and it's a fun time to talk about. What did you do this weekend, Jerry? Good parenting? Were you with your kids? What went on?
I did a lot of prep for the show. I got out of Mass at 11 o'clock in the morning, sat down in front of the TV and watched pregame shows, and then went all the way through Red Zone. I spent the day with Red Zone, which is going to be new to you guys, right?
Pat, how do you feel about Red Zone?
I hate it. I told you that Red Zone was founded by ISIS because they tried to eliminate punters. Today, they only put the punter on when something bad happened. It was my first time watching, but since I'm a fantasy football guy now, right, I completely understand. And I was catching myself trying to flip back and forth between games, and then finally I just say, fuck it. I'm just going to go on the Red Zone channel and watch everything. And I did it just like everybody else. So I completely understand why people love it so much. Completely understand.
Truth be told, and this will break brains, people will not believe that this is true of me because I'm so obsessed about the NFL. It's the first time I've ever actually dove in to Red Zone. I've been places where it was on. I don't know if I've ever turned it on in my house because I'm usually, for the purposes of Barstool, preparing to write about a Patriots, in depth, taking a deep dive into them. So I've never really sat there and said, you know what, I want to see what it's like to go from, the Redskins game and then jump over to the Arizona game or whatever. Having done it once, it's crack.
Yeah,
it is absolutely crack. I'm addicted. It so suits my ADHD.
Didn't I smoke crack yesterday, AJ? Were you there when that kid told me I smoked crack? Were you there for that?
No. No, I was there when the two kids were offering you some free cigs, and they got all offended when you turned them down.
Yeah, we were at a college. We were literally in a fraternity on Saturday, like inside of a fraternity party in the house, like kind of, I don't want to say held hostage, but like locked up in a room up in the top corner. And I learned some shit. They have these little electronic cigarettes. All these kids are smoking nicotine, which is so confusing. Like, what are you guys doing? Nicotine was the last generation. Marijuana is like, what are you? It's almost legal. You guys need to get on it. They were smoking these little Juul things, which are like these little nicotine vape. It was an interesting.
Yeah, you're talking about vaping, right?
Yeah, but
do they actually absorb nicotine from it?
The kid said he smokes a pack of vape in 2 hours. He just rips right through a pack in 2 hours. I'm like, holy shit. And then I smoked, and they're like, oh, you just smoked meth. I'm like, what? Wait a minute here. Where the fuck am I? It was a very interesting. The 2 cigarettes got turned down. Then some kid was like, yo, you want to gear up, cuz? I was like, gear up? Like, they're like, yeah, you want to gear up? I was like, what? They're like, Colombian Bam Bam, cuz. I was like, no, what the fuck are we doing here? I'm 30 years old. Get me out of this house. Where am I? And then we did a TV show or an internet show. AJ Hawk and I did an internet show with no videos that we're supposed to talk about videos.
The Barstool tailgate show. So tell me about that experience. And then I want to dive more into what kind of drugs you guys are doing.
So Jerry, I'm gonna hop in first. So I actually showed up late. I went to the production meeting, 10 a.m. at this Airbnb they were staying at. Nice, normal suburban neighborhood, calm,
quiet,
calm before the storm.
Yep.
So then I had four little kids, so I had responsibilities and things to do during the day.
Mistakes.
So yeah, well, no, actually, I don't think it was. Now,
no, you're right. You're right. You're 100% right. You had a much better day at your kids' games and stuff, I think, than I did at the house. But you're going.
And my 6-year-old daughter's soccer game, I think, was a bit less rowdy than the fraternity house. Sorry, Pat, fraternity.
It's a fraternity. Please have some respect. You live in a country. You don't call it a. That's what the guy told. That's what one person told me. It's a fraternity, not a frat.
Okay, whatever.
Oh,
so
no kidding. That triggers them now.
Oh.
Okay, duly noted.
It's a microaggression, no question.
So when you got there, AJ, what did you think? Because I'd been there for 7 hours at that point.
I show about 4:30, and I'm like, oh man, okay, I don't know where this Sigma Chi house is. They were nice enough to let you guys let us come in there and take the place over. Basically, I show up, I see the big RV, and I see Pat and El Prez on the stage, kind of running through stuff. And I couldn't. You guys had been there for 4 or 5 hours by that point,
Yep.
and you were like thrown to the wolves, right in the heart of like the Coliseum of probably 16 to 21-year-old kids dancing to some crazy, a lot of rap that I have never heard of, and I fully admit, like I am out of touch a bit, but I know the hits, and they were not playing the hits. That's for sure.
It
Pat.
wasn't the old. There was a lot of new music. Bang. We were right in the middle of a fraternity party. Across the street, another fraternity party. Behind us, another party. And I don't know who was checking IDs. It was an interesting situation. We'll say they were all 21. Of course, we would only operate with only 21. Whatever. But it was wild. It was a wild atmosphere. It was a great time, but the internet wasn't up to it. Just there were some technical difficulties, but boy, what a wild situation. I'm excited to see how that turns out.
Yeah, here's one gift that I was given at birth is just enough self-awareness that when I'm at a party that's kind of probably not right for me, I have a good sense of that. And early on in me doing Barstool.
Hold on. Yeah, I heard you got kicked out of a fucking party. You were like 30 years older than everybody else at the party. I heard you were the only guy that got kicked out.
Yeah, there were circumstances there. But Portnoy insisted that I start coming to the Barstool parties when they were really small. And then as they started to explode, I just, like I said, I'm self-aware enough that I'm not going to be the guy in the pleated khakis and the members-only jacket or whatever. Like, if I don't belong there, I'm out the door. It's on his podcast. I don't want to go too deep into that story, but 2 girls came as my guests. They started making out with each other. There were nipples being played with by one another. I was a bystander, but somehow I got blamed for that, and I was holding their phones at their request. So now I'm waiting outside, and I can't leave because I have their stupid phones, and I'm like, I'm not I'm not drunk enough for this. This is not me. I'm not having some midlife
You got
crisis
kicked out of a Barstool party because two girls that you came with were making out and playing with each other's nipples?
Yes. That's exactly how it happened. And I was stuck there another hour and a half because they were into the show. They were into the theatrics of it, as were everybody else.
Were you their chaperone? What were you doing?
They were my guests.
Who are these girls? How old? What are you talking about?
Were you their chaperone?
Mid-20s.
And okay.
And how old were you? How old were you, old ball?
No, they were platonic friends.
I've never heard of that.
Who were into Barstool, and I was going to the party. I said, "Sure, come along. I'll get you in there." I actually met them.
So he was their chaperone.
Before this,
you were their chaperone.
Yeah, they were my +1 and +2, or 1A and 1B, judging by the contact they had.
Did you drive them there, and did they sit in the back seat, or did one sit in the front seat?
I drove one. The other came in her own car. I met them 2 jobs before this, and by the way, we will talk about football at some point. I worked in a courthouse, and one of them was a defendant, and they were stoolies, and yeah.
You were an Uber for 2 girls that got you kicked out. That's awesome. I'm proud of you, Jerry.
But again, if I'm at a frat party and some guy's saying, "Here, smoke this,"
yeah,
I think that's where I'm just going to kind of say, "Yeah, not my thing."
But I'm a man of the people, Jerry. It's tough to say, like, hey, listen. I want to let you know, kid, what you put in your body and you smoke, that's up to you. And then if they keep asking and they're persistent, I don't want to disappoint. I'm a crowd pleaser, Jerry. I'm a crowd pleaser. What do you want me to do about it?
All right. As I say this, Thursday night, I'm tailgating at Gillette, and every other group I walk by handed me a shot or wanted to chug a beer. And I'm the guy who says, "Sure, absolutely, I'm going to do that."
You're a crowd pleaser. That's what you are.
Yeah.
How was Operation ClownFace? How was that?
I was there for the tail end of it. It took me, I had to walk about a mile to get to it. And I couldn't walk 50 feet without someone stopping, either asking if I had the towels, or where can they get the towels, or, hey, they're confiscating the towels when you go to the stadium. That apparently was happening. So I get down there, and they're absolutely on fumes. They're down to their final box. And it was like Hunger Games. Like when they all go running to get the weapons at the beginning of it, people were thronging to this thing. And then when you told them flat out there are just none left, I grabbed one to send off to my older son who's with the Marine Corps in Okinawa. It's the only reason I had one. And a guy older than me asks if I have one. I go, "This one's going to Okinawa." Figure, end of discussion. No, he kept badgering me for it. Well, come on. Oh, come on.
Wow.
Did you hear who this is going to? And most people were great about it. Believe me. Of course, I'm going to focus on the 1 in 100 who was just a complete a-hole. But,
Did
Napoleon
they confiscate
said that people will risk their lives for a piece of ribbon on their chest. Give out a clown towel to people, and they'll walk miles for it. They'll beg. They'll cajole. They'll rush for each other. It was amazing. Obviously, they didn't get all of them. I think people must have been keistering those things as they went into the stadium, because you saw the photos. It was a total turquoise out. It looked like the Panthers at the Dolphins.
Now, that's the thing that sucks about that for you guys is incredible idea, incredible concept. Apparently, all of New England hates Roger Goodell. And then the backfire of all backfires is that the Patriots, when people were predicting them to go undefeated, a lot of people were excited to watch their team play. The Kansas City Chiefs came in and fucking balled. They balled. Alex Smith looked like a prime-time player, which I think he's a really good player, but they balled out. And that Kareem Hunt kid fumbles on his first snap, and he's good if they put him right back in and he's a rookie and he fumbled on his first snap. If they're putting him right back in, they're like, this guy's it. They blew up. What a night for the Chiefs, though. That's a huge night.
Oh, it was good, destined to be. And AJ, you know more about defense than Pat or I are ever going to know. But should Patriots fans be panicking? Because I watched a game where the stalwarts on their defense suddenly were Kyle Van Noy and Cassius Marsh, and it looked like shades of how bad they were in 2009, 2010, 2012.
People are freaking out about them losing. I think it's going to turn out to be a good thing. They don't have to have this whole undefeated deal hanging over. Are you going? And I think for them, The regular season means nothing for the Patriots. It really does. They're going to win their division. They're going to cruise through. It's what they do in the playoffs. But they had so many guys go down. I feel like when Amendola went down, that definitely hurt their offense. Cassius Marsh had been there, 6 days maybe, and he's getting a ton of playing time when Hightower got hurt. What's that?
Dorsett was in, and he's got like 3 days of practice. I mean, Dwayne Allen was it was a very interesting thing.
That affects your whole as a defensive guy and as the coordinator making the calls. When you have a couple guys in there that have only been, even if you have one guy on the field who's getting a lot of playing time, and he's only been there for a week, like your play sheet that you can call, the defense you can call is cut way down to like maybe 3 or 4 basic calls where you can't really dial up any great blitzes you have. You're just gonna have to kind of sit back in coverage and either try to match up and lock dudes up or sit back in the zone and try to get some pressure. The problem was they just couldn't really get much pressure on Alex Smith, and he did, man. He looked awesome. He really did.
Yeah, although he wasn't exactly throwing balls into tight windows. I mean, guys were coming open. He made a great read on the bomb to
Tyreek.
Was the one to Hunt that had Cassius Marsh in coverage, just went up the seam. I mean, but like you said, Cassius Marsh was brought in basically to be a special teamer, and he might have had the second most reps out of anybody in the front seven, which is not how you. 2 months ago, when I was floating in Lake Champlain with a 14-star tall boy in the cup holder, and I was thinking about the season ahead, I wasn't sitting there going, Cassius Marsh, he's going to be the key to that week one. They just had so much depth, and it evaporated in the span of 6 weeks.
AJ, if one guy fucks up on a defense, it's done, right? That's why the call sheet's so small, is because you need everybody in sync, and if one person misses their gap or coverage, it's 6. Is that very easy to say?
I mean, not always, but yeah, it's going to be an explosive game probably if one guy out of the 11 misses a gap. Like run fits, it gets all boring and confusing, I guess, if you're just talking about basic run fits but you're all kind of on a string. And if one guy decides to go, like say one D lineman, if he's supposed to be in the A gap and stay in the A gap, if he decides to throw a swim move on the center and try to go backside, right there, you just everyone behind you is trying to make up for your mistake, and then you see that mistake and you try to jump into his gap, and then it puts the guy behind you in peril. The safety's like, oh, I got to make up for both these guys, and then after that, even if you can't trust that maybe the guys in front of you are going to do their job, be in the position they're supposed to be, because they just haven't been there. They don't have the experience. So then you're trying to think okay, should I just go in and if I'm supposed to flow over top and get in the B gap, should I? Or should I kind of hang back for a minute and see what the guy in front of me is going to do? So it throws everything into like a whirlwind, when then the D coordinator is obviously Matt Patricia's freaking out thinking hey, what can I call? So he has to huddle him up on the sideline, tell the defense, hey guys, listen, tell Cassius Marsh, any young guys you have in or inexperienced guys in that scheme, this is what I'm going to call. Can you, what do you know? I've been on the sidelines before where a coach will say, what do you know? What can I trust you to be in your spot?
In the game, in the middle of the fucking game?
Yeah, and it only happens through injuries, basically. If a young guy has to step in and he'll pull a call sheet out and go through all the defense, what do you feel comfortable with me calling? And they'll have to do that. And then so the rest of the defense suffers because of that.
And so you're saying that it's correctable. What you saw Thursday night even with the personnel that they have.
Yeah, the Patriots are going to be fine, I think. They have to get pressure on the quarterback. That's the biggest cliche in football. You got to pressure the quarterback and stop the run. Yeah, of course you do. It's a lot easier said than done. I don't know if they try to find guys on other teams to bring in or someone on the street that's going to try to help them get a little bit of pressure on the QB. You got to find a way to get a four-man rush and not have to bring 5 and 6 guys to try to get the quarterback off the spot and make him feel uncomfortable.
I'm so excited to watch the Patriots. I'm so excited because after watching that do your job thing and the inner workings of their coaching, I'm excited to see how they bounce back from that because it did so many injuries. Depth was crushed. They got outplayed, it appeared. They were beating they had an inexperienced defense out there. I'm excited to see the coaching come fruition here for Belichick. This is going to be quite a piece of work for him if he can flip this around because the Chiefs looked like a fucking unstoppable team. Andy Reid came through in that GIF like the Kool-Aid guy through a brick wall in the GIF that I tweeted. That's really how he should feel though because that team looked incredible. They looked good. So did the Raiders today. Did you see that? I think the Raiders are going to be really good. I think the Raiders are going to be real good. I like them a lot.
Yeah, you know what? I was really skeptical about Marshawn Lynch coming back because the history of guys unretiring at running back just isn't good. You know, Arian Foster, he's totally reinvented himself. He turned into nothing. Adrian Peterson hasn't been anything close to Adrian Peterson. But 76 yards today, he looks solid. But Derek Carr, I think, has a chance to be the next, I'm not going to say elite quarterback, but the guy in that upper echelon with the Russell Wilsons and Drew Brees or whatever. Am I out of my mind?
Absolutely not. I know Derek Carr is the future. That's why he got paid so much money, and he's young. He's the face of the franchise. He seems to be doing everything right, and it seems like he has the respect of the guys on the team. But Marshawn Lynch, a lot of the other guys that you mentioned were coming off injuries, and they're getting older. And as a running back, we know how we devalue the running back position. It's more like running back by committee. But Marshawn never really had the crazy injury past. I think like Arian Foster, he had at least one or two Achilles tears, which is brutal to come back from. Adrian, obviously, injury, suspension, multiple things. I think Adrian's still going to be good, though. But Marshawn never really if he stays healthy, which I think he will, not only what he does on the field, like he does, man. I played against him a bunch when he was in Seattle, like what he brings to like the confidence he brings to not only the rest of the offense, but the defense. And when a guy does that and he has those crazy beast mode runs that you watch, like we all know the stadium shakes there in Seattle when he wasn't playing there, but the coaches get all juiced up. I'm sure the punters that are sitting there with their helmet on top of their helmet get you punch the holder in the chest. The holder punches you. You spit in each other's mouth. Yeah, like Latimer. It has a feel. Everywhere.
We don't.
Oh God! And he had one of those runs against Jarrell Casey, a guy's probably listed as 310, and he looks like he's 325, and he trucked him. And you know what? I think we can all agree that we just need Marshawn Lynch back in our lives.
Dude, I fucking love him. I picked the Raiders to win the Super Bowl. I love whenever he went on the Running Wild with Bear Grylls. It was like the moment, let alone the I'm just here so I won't get fined. Like, yeah, boss, I'm just here so I won't get fined. Like, you know why I'm here. That was awesome because you just like you teabagged the league basically. He said, no, I'll do this. If you're gonna force me to do this, which you are obviously, I'm going to ruin it. And he made it a viral thing. Then the Skittles stuff goes big. But whenever I saw him in the Running Wild with Bear Grylls, I was like, this dude is my favorite human on earth. He almost fought Bear Grylls in the woods, in the middle of the woods. He almost fought Bear Grylls. The guy that drinks his own piss almost got fought by Marshawn Lynch. But I think him coming back, it changes the dynamic playing against that offense. Derek Carr can deliver the rock. Amari Cooper and Crabtree are a dynamic duo. I think they're gonna be a good, let alone their defense is dope. They got a good defense. Bruce Irvin, Mac, they got a whole squad over there. Jack Del Rio seems to be having a great time. And special teams, they got a rookie kicker that banged 4 kicks today, 250 plus. Marquette King's a monster. The Raiders are good. The Patriots, the Chiefs, Raiders, there's a lot of good teams. I don't know what the AFC is going to do.
One thing I need to be clued in on, because the picture kind of went viral, was Beast Mode doing flipping the double freedom rockets.
Yeah.
What was that directed at? Because I missed it when it happened, but I saw you tweet it out. It's awesome.
I don't know when exactly it happened, but I'm assuming it's one of those moments where they're live, like either pregame or live before a huddle, which I love. Whenever they get in guys facing guys like dance and like do stuff, because at any given time anything could go wrong, and Marshawn Lynch exposed that. I mean, that's just that's why Marshawn Lynch is Marshawn Lynch. I fucking love him. AJ, you were a superstar. Did you ever get those pregame interviews and like those live hits and shit like that?
Nah, maybe 1 or 2 over my career, but no, man. We had plenty of stars in Green Bay, and Aaron, Clay, Jordy. We had all kind of guys that would take those. It was weird. It's always weird too. Like you literally like take your helmet off, hold it on your hip, do an interview. And like literally the interview's ending, and they're running out, snapping up their chin strap.
Here's first play. Here you go. Now go kill a guy. Go do an interview, and I'll go kill a guy.
Is coach going to really understand if I get in here and I fumble this first snap? Like, he's literally going to punch the reporter, the female sideline reporter in the face.
AJ, you got some airtime in the Patriots version of America's game. It was showing old footage of LeGarrette Blount, because he was one of the 3 guys presenting, and it was him at Tampa. And he thinks it's one of the 10 greatest runs of all time. And he must have broken 13 tackles, and I saw number 50 at probably the 12th tackle.
Ooh, okay. I didn't remember LeGarrette Blount was in Tampa. Really?
He was drafted by them, yeah.
Well, my bad. I remember
AJ
him
Hawk with the disrespect from the clouds.
Not even. No, that's no disrespect. My greatest memory of LeGarrette Blount was the punch that came out of nowhere that knocked that kid cold.
No, where's he? Oregon. Boise? Oregon.
He was Oregon.
Oregon, yeah. Fuck. Somebody said today during the game when LeGarrette Blount got the ball, he was like, I wouldn't want to have to see LeGarrette Blount in practice because there was always the thought that he would jump me. And I was like, is that a reference to the Oregon fight? Or is it like that? I was very confused about that. It was just like it's perfect timing because I do think LeGarrette Blount, he ran for like 400 yards on the Colts one game. Like he had 6 touchdowns, I think. I don't think a single guy touched him the entire evening. I don't think it even happened. But he had a monster night. He always has these he does well. He got arrested for marijuana in Pittsburgh. Then he goes back and he wins another Super Bowl and crushes it. But I think everybody's biggest memory of LeGarrette Blount is whenever he blindsided the dude right in college. I think that's what everybody remembers him for.
Oh, and it probably cost him 5 rounds in the draft minimum.
Oh.
Yeah, I think he dropped that much, but they got him for virtually nothing. He goes to Pittsburgh. Yeah, he and Le'Veon Bell were, sparking up on game day of a preseason game, and then he kind of walked off the field with time left on the clock, and he was done in Pittsburgh. He comes back to New England and leads them to a Super Bowl. So let's see how long it lasts for him in Philly. He didn't run the ball particularly well today. Caught a 1-yard touchdown. By the way, Carson Wentz looks like a guy who's going to develop into that class of quarterback that we're talking about.
And the defense for Philly looked good too. Carson Wentz did well. AJ, I think they're a real good team. I really like what Philadelphia's doing, and the Eagles fans need this. They deserve this. I mean, they deserve it. They need it.
Think about Philly and think about Carson Wentz. First off, it's always good to see a ginger do well. And another one, Andy Dalton had a rough day for it. But you think about it, if Carson Wentz, what if he wants to grow his beard out and do that? I would tell him, absolutely not, buddy. I would say, let's get the Dollar Shave Club. What do you think?
Oh, Matt? Is that what you would do? You'd say, hey, Carson Wentz, say you're doing really well. Let's not ruin it.
Yeah, listen to me now. By now, everybody knows Dollar Shave Club ships amazing razors for a few bucks. I know I've been a member for a while when I try to grow out a little beard, even though it comes in super like I'm a hillbilly 7th grader, still at age 33. I can't really grow a great beard, but I need to shave that stubble off sometimes, Jerry. So what you might not know is the Dollar Shave Club also has products for pretty much everything else I need in the bathroom. Body wash, shampoo, hair gel, lip balm.
What?
Everything. Yes. As soon as I heard Dollar Shave Club and other stuff than just razors, I was sold. At the store, there are too many options. You can't tell the difference between any of them. Then, if you have any questions, the clerk obviously has no answers.
No idea. That clerk. No idea. Seriously.
Yeah. Plus, they keep the things under lock and key.
Oh.
They've got jewelry out there. You can just grab watches, but those things are so frigging expensive that they've got them behind like razor, friggin' laser beams.
What was that? Razor beams. They got them behind razor beams.
Definitely razor beams, but that's a great thing, man. Dollar Shave Club, it makes it easy and convenient for you to upgrade your shave and your bathroom. Now you don't have to step foot in a store to get high-quality shave and grooming products. We'll deliver it right to your door, just like the razors. Everything is super high quality and left me looking and feeling amazing like a young Jerry, whatever your last name is.
Thornton.
Premium ingredients to sophisticated scents. Dollar Shave Club is changing the game. I'm joking, Jerry. I know your last name's Thornton. So.
I don't know if he did.
I might have had a bit of CTE there for a quick minute.
Just remember that those beams of light are called razor beams.
Yeah, absolutely they are.
If you're like me and you're sick of the nonsense of the store, now is the time to try out Dollar Shave Club. For a limited time, Dollar Shave Club is basically giving away everything. Shower, shave, starter kit. It's set for new members for only $5. This starter set features their executive razor and 3 trial-size versions of their most popular products that help you stay fresh and clean. In your first box, you receive the shave butter, body wash, and 1 wipe Charlie's butt wipes. What are those, Pat? Explain it.
Well, those are just magical things, Sometimes the high society people put a fountain in their toilet to experience true cleanliness. But with Dollar Shave Club, you don't need that fountain. All you need is, what's the name of it again, AJ? I love it so much.
One wipe Charlie's butt wipes.
There it is. It's just like having the Las Vegas hotel toilet with the fountain in the bottom after you do number 2. It's the same thing, just at a much, much more lower price.
Elegant?
Lower
Civilized?
price. Civilized way. Civilized manner. That's it.
Portable, Pat.
Portable. It's a portable. What are those things called? What's that thing
Bidet.
called?
Bidet.
Bidet.
It's European.
Yes.
But guess what? You also will receive the executive razor, which includes their premium very weighty handle and full cassette of cartridges after the first box. Replacement cartridges are sent for only a few bucks a month. This offer is exclusively available at dollarshaveclub.com/laces. That's dollarshaveclub.com/laces. Dollar Shave Club's high-quality products will have you covered from face cheeks to butt cheeks. There's no better time to try the club.
Hey, I'll tell you what, your reading is above average, I'd say.
That was, I mean, you stumble a few times, you black out, you forget your co-host's last name. It was all right. We made it.
That make you valedictorian at Ohio State.
Yikes.
I got my degree. This was what we talked about on the Barstool tailgate show, I think, live on air. Dave was trying to knock my Ohio State education. I was like, hey, man, I graduated.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did, AJ.
With a degree in what?
Criminology. I wanted to be a cop.
Is that still in play?
It's not 100% off the table, but it's not looking good right now for me.
You should be a bounty hunter like Dog. You should be like Dog. You should be the new Hawk, the bounty hunter. I think you should think about it.
I don't think you need a degree for that one, Pat.
But I think you'd be above everybody else because you're educated in it. You're the dog bounty hunter of Ohio. Hawk the bounty hunter.
I'll think about it. I mean, I'm sure Jerry was at one point. He's had every other job under the stars.
Sure. I believe I worked in a friggin' courthouse. Well, I worked, quote unquote. I was a state employee, so I did as little as I could. I would sit through murder trials, and the attorney would say, hey, how do you think it's going for me? And I'd say, I don't know. I'm actually on my phone reading about the Patriots.
Yikes.
I'm sure your little thing is going really well, though. Good for you.
Taking tax dollars do not pay attention at all to anything. I like it.
Hey, I'm the one who got myself off the government teat, okay? I had a dream. That dream was called working for Barstool. This podcasting with you two guys was beyond the realm. It was sometimes your real life exceeds your dreams. And that's what's happening right here with our
Pat,
number 2 rated show.
Yeah, buddy.
Jerry, sorry to cut you off here, Pat, but before I got talking about Carson Wentz, the other quarterback in that game we all know was Kirk Cousins. Now his crazy contract situation where they keep tendering him, they won't give him a long-term deal. Like, Pat, what do you think? Should they, if you're Kirk Cousins, you have to feel like the team doesn't trust you to be their franchise quarterback, right?
I don't know, because there was talk that he got offered a big contract and he turned it down. There was talk that he got offered a big contract and they couldn't come to an agreement, so then they franchise tagged him, which is a massive amount of money. And everybody's saying he's betting on himself, which I love. Like Joe Flacco did that, won the Super Bowl, but now it's like numerous years where he's like betting on himself. At some point, maybe he just doesn't want any long. You know what? Maybe Kirk Cousins is scared of commitment, Maybe he just wants a one-year thing. Maybe he doesn't want to be tied down in D.C. for too long. Maybe he's got other stuff he wants. He's had an interesting career. Coming in behind RG3 and then that whole shit show and then coming in. Kirk Cousins is an interesting, and he's funny. I think Kirk Cousins has a good personality. They're showing a commercial today where he was like, it's a high-five party, everybody's, like, he's got a personality, I think. So I enjoy that he's betting on himself, but I think there was a chance to get a long-term contract done and he turned it down, so I don't know what the deal is there.
I always respect an athlete that kind of makes it clear that he's chasing dollars. And I don't say that in a pejorative way, but a guy that just there was a baseball example, Jonathan Papelbon with the Red Sox. While he was in their control, 1-year deals the entire time, they kept coming to him and he said, no, I'm not going to sign with you. And he went and he cashed in. When a guy does that, they don't lie about it. Where they don't try to make it out like, well, it's not about money. I respect that. I respect what Cousins is doing. He could get his shoulder separated tomorrow and never be able to cash in, but he's gambling on himself.
Yeah, he is, but I think it's either with him, this is obviously just me guessing. I think it's either the contract they offered, it was a ton of money, I'm sure, but it was probably like these contracts we've seen to where you pay these quarterbacks, it looks like, $100 million deal, but in reality, it's like a 2-year money. They can get out after 2 years. Like they're not on the hook. It doesn't screw them for 6 years if you don't turn out to be the guy they want you to be, or Kirk just doesn't feel super confident about the direction that the Redskins are going, and he's thinking like, no, I'm not signing a long-term deal with these guys unless they make some moves or make some changes.
It's so interesting to see the big number of contracts and then the guaranteed money. Like when you're a player, I think you realize that a lot more than everybody else, because every day it's like this contract is worth this and this is worth this and this is worth this. And then when you dig into it, it's like the guaranteed money is just a quarter of it and you can earn it all. I think the way contracts are set up and negotiated is so interesting, like from an outside perspective, if you were to learn, because there's so much fuckery going on both sides. Like everybody's trying to just get as much money as possible, and then boom, okay, we're going to play football, or we're going to try to fuck you over as much as possible. Boom, now play your heart out for us. We just tried to fuck you over. We undersold you. You aren't worth this. You're not good. Now we want you to play and work your ass off for us every single day. It's an interesting thing. And if you're like cold-blooded and you could separate the business side from it for a personal side of it, good for you. But there was a couple times like I looked at Griggs, I'm like, fuck you. I remember what you said during negotiation. that was like there was a couple moments of that, you know. It's interesting, AJ. The business side is so fucking interesting.
I mean, you nailed it right there. Like, this is what we're gonna say about you. Oh no, play your heart out for us. Oh, we don't trust you. Yeah, you hit it you're so dead on. And then by the way, are you kidding me? You're not loyal to us as a team. How are you not gonna show loyalty to the fan base and us? I'm like, what?
Fuck you, dude.
What are you talking about? Yeah. Like, it's not. Yeah, you nailed it, Pat. That's so true, because the player, no matter what, the player cannot really look like you can't put them in a positive light when they're doing contracts, because the team can leak information. Oh, well, we offered him $200 million. He said no. He's not sure about it.
Yeah, but it could be like $15 million guaranteed.
Exactly.
It's so much crazy shit, but I don't know. I think he's a good player, though. I think he's a good player.
Is the movie Semi-Tough, or was it North Dallas 40, where the great line, every time we say it's a game, you say it's a business. And then every time we say it's a business, you call it a game. And yeah, teams just completely mindfuck players all the time on this stuff. And to the point where, do you know like what's in your contract as you're signing it? I mean, does your agent lay it out for you and say, forget this number, here's what you should focus on? Or do they convince you it's better than it is too, because it helps the agent?
Every big number that comes out for the agent is marketing for the agent. That's why everybody talks about, like, Drew Rosenhaus is so popular because he has a lot of clients and he's made a lot of money, but every contract he negotiates, it always goes to the forefront of everything, and even the negotiations behind it. So it's a good marketing by him. He's a good businessman. I was represented by Rosenhaus for like 2 months. I had no hard feelings. He just had so many clients. I was like, I don't think this is right for me. I'm out of here. I don't have an agent currently. I didn't have an agent at the end of my career. So the thing that I realized with the agent is they kept it real with me, and they would say, like, we think you can earn this, but everything is always in the back end, like, but we got to cover our ass because if that doesn't happen, we're fucked, you know? Like, and I think there are some guys who get lied to by their agent, but I think there's also a lot of agents that don't lie to people too. So I think it's kind of a hit or miss situation with which agent you're dealing with.
Yeah, no question. My agent, his name is Mike McCartney out of Priority Sports. I had him my whole 11 years I played, and he was great for me, but he was kind of it's true. Some agents just want to put that huge number out there, even though we know there's almost a 0% chance the guy's ever going to make all of that money, but it looks good. It's marketing for them to show other clients and kids coming out of college. But there's also players that want that too. Like, no, I want it to look like a really big deal. And you don't realize, hey man, only like $2 million of this $45 million is guaranteed. It's not a great contract. So players should be up front too. So I was lucky that my agent didn't care about, like, he cared about what's the best deal for me and trying to structure it the right way. But it's now, though, especially if you're a top, like a first round pick, I don't think you should have an agent. I think you should hire a lawyer to negotiate your contract. You're slotted, so you can't. All you can negotiate is like certain language and offset language, where the money though is slotted. So now there's none of that negotiating that they used to have. So you don't need an agent that you pay 3 or 4%. You could hire a lawyer and pay him an hourly rate to negotiate your deal.
AJ, 3% is max. Okay, I know you had one agent for 11 years. I had like 5 different ones, so I had to negotiate the percentage at all times. 3% was the max. Get them down to 2.5. You feel real good because you're negotiating with your negotiator. It's kind of a fun situation if you win a little bit. It's a little semi-success story. So that's.
Did you ever think of hiring someone to negotiate with your negotiator?
Yeah, well, I fucking.
Now it becomes like a whole inception.
So it really did happen almost. So I was with Relativity. They had Relativity Football, Relativity Sports, and Relativity Media Production. So the guy that owns Relativity Media, like, just wanted to own a bunch of like sports agencies. So he bought a basketball one, an NFL one, and I signed with him because they were like, "Hey, we'll be able to hook you up. We'll be able to help you get into stuff. We'll be able to market you because we got Relativity Media behind us." Blah blah blah. And they filmed a pilot episode of a show that I wrote. Basically, I wrote the show. They filmed it. They owned it. Now I had to go into negotiations with them for that show to get sold. Right. So now I'm in negotiations with my agency about a show that I wrote that they create. It's like an interesting thing. And I almost had to hire an agent to negotiate with my agent. It was that almost happened in my life. And instead we just canceled it. That almost happened, Jerry. Ridiculous life I live.
That's insane.
It's
you know what? You're
stupid.
like one of those old time, like, blues guys that got ripped off by the record industry. You know, you're Little Richard. You know, I never saw any of that money from Disney. They used all my Miss Daisy. That was my song.
That's a hilarious
Poor guy, you were
impression.
victimized.
Straight Outta Compton had a couple of those scenes with Ice Cube where he took a baseball bat to a couple of different places. AJ, you had a good relationship with your guy, huh? 11 years doing business together. That's a long time.
Yeah, he was great, man. I think I was not high maintenance at all, and he was a good dude, and he was honest, which is all that matters. And whenever I needed something, he did it. But for the majority of the time, I'd go months and months without speaking to him because I didn't need to speak to him. Like, unless I didn't, he is my friend, but I didn't need another friend. I didn't have to call him and text him, "Oh, practice was really tough today, Mike." Like, I didn't need that guy.
He didn't issue a mission statement.
I would
say,
only,
you complete me. Or
I think that happens with guys. Like, I think guys are like really good friends with their agents. They like hang out with each other and shit. I only had agents during negotiation periods. That's it. The only time I ever had them was during negotiation periods, and we're done. There was no relationship past that. It's interesting.
All right, well, before we move off of Philly at Washington, I want to circle back for 2 things about that game. One, I'm an NFC East guy. I've decided that's my favorite division because everybody in the NFC East hates each other. I mean, those are all blood rivals. Yeah, I mean, you can say, well, every division has 1 or 2 rivals. True, but if maybe if you're from Cincinnati, your dad hated Pittsburgh, maybe. But if you're
Cleveland.
A Redskins fan, your great-great-grandpappy hunted Philadelphia Eagles fans. I mean, there were murders all the time. And I love that about them. And no matter, even if the teams are struggling, you can sense that it's so brutal to the point. And this is where I had a problem with this game today. At the end, the Eagles win. They gave a Gatorade bath to Doug Peterson.
They did that in the LA Rams Colts game too with McVay because it was his first game or whatever.
It was his first game, and it's the first game back in a city, and we'll get that about how nobody in the world gives a shit that the Rams are back there or whatever. But they're in the kingdom of Thorntopia, and I'm a big freedom guy. I'm a small L libertarian. You do what you want to do, that's fine. But there has to be there are Gatorade appropriate games, and there are non-Gatorade appropriate games. And I'm sorry, winning week 1 at Washington is definitely not a time to give a Gatorade bath to a coach.
Jesus, Jerry.
I'm with you, Jared, 100%. And it's not Doug Peterson. This is his second year in Philly, correct?
What, guys? What? Like, why don't we like celebrations all of a sudden?
Because, okay, Pat, I'll tell you exactly why. By Philly doing that, by dumping Gatorade, winning week 1 against Washington, a team that you're going to play again in the regular season, you're showing the ultimate respect to the Redskins, I think. You're giving them so much credit. Like, oh, my gosh, we beat you. It's such a big game. It's such a big deal for us. Like, my junior year in college, we got beat by Northwestern, and I think it had been like 30 or 40 years since Ohio State got beat by them, and they rushed the field, went crazy, like they won the Super Bowl. And I was like, man, I guess it was a really big deal to beat us. Like, I felt like respected almost that they were so happy. I'm like, so I wanted to make sure we never showed that much respect to somebody else. So we'd win, like, yeah, of course. Like, yeah, let's just shake hands. All right, buddy, see you. Like, yeah, we expected to win.
Well, listen, Philadelphia had no idea what the fuck was going to happen this year. I mean, I think they're excited. They got a big win, a big divisional win.
That's fine.
And that's fine. Well, why not just have a parade then? You know,
I think
have
they
a
should
rally
think
at
about
City
it.
Hall.
Now, listen, the old team I used to work for, we hung banners whenever we lost in semifinal matches. All right? So let's have a little respect for the celebration. You know, life's too short not to celebrate. Dump the goddamn Gatorade. Stone cold a few beers. Yeah.
Celebrate in the locker room with your buddies or hang out and be like, oh, this is cool, but don't show them, the other team, much respect.
Get drunk on the plane ride home, for sure.
Exactly.
Fine. That would be entirely appropriate.
But dump some fucking Gatorade, too, if you need to. Week 1 is in the books, but it's not too late to get closer to the game you love, Jerry, AJ. It's not too late. You know that?
It's definitely not too late. I don't feel like it's too late, and I'm a lot further down that road than you guys are.
Well, it's not too late to get closer to the game that you love with DraftKings 1 week fantasy football. This Sunday, DraftKings is hosting a $100,000 pick'em contest that is totally free to enter. It's totally free. Why wouldn't you do it? Why wouldn't you do it, Jerry?
I did. I always do.
Well, you should. I mean, Jesus, if you don't, what are you doing? Seriously. Pick'em is the newest way to play 1 week fantasy football. Drafting your team is faster than ever. DraftKings has organized players into 8 tiers. All you have to do is select one player from each tier. Choose between public contests with big cash prizes or private contests where you can talk shit against a group of your friends. DraftKings also has beginner and casual contests where you'll play against people of similar skill level. The best part is you get to draft a new team each week without any commitment. You're like Kirk Cousins. No goddamn commitment to the Redskins. I'll do this thing for 1 more year. You got me for 16 games, and if we do another playoff, and then we'll talk then. No goddamn commitment, Jerry. None.
How many commitments?
None
1
commitments.
week's worth?
None commitments. None commitments. So get to DraftKings.com now and use promo code HIKE. Spell that, AJ.
HIKE.
Yeah, it's like Nike. Just do it, but with an H at the beginning and without the E at the end. Hike to play in DraftKings free contest with $100,000 in total prizes this Sunday. That's promo code HIKE to compete for your share of $100,000 in total prizes. The contest is totally free to enter. Jerry, why wouldn't you try?
I do it every week, and I will do it again, damn it. Why? Small L libertarian. It's all about freedom. Stick it to the man by playing DraftKings.
DraftKings, the game inside the game. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details. All right, good thing. Thank you for coming back, DraftKings. That's very nice of you. 2 straight shows, I believe. Definitely do that each week. There's no commitment. Draft a new team. Get a part of the $100,000 prize pool. That's fantastic. There was some other big shit that happened in the NFL, though. I mean, it was a sloppy weekend, dude. That was a sloppy batch of games.
It was an absolute mess. And special teams, you mentioned how they're punter phobics or anti-puntists.
Positionists. They're
Red Zone?
positionists. They're positionists. They practice positionism. They maybe be related to ISIS because they just try to eliminate 4th downs, and I don't like it. Not one bit, Jerry.
Oh, it's special teams this weekend was just a dystopian hellscape.
Hilarious.
Everywhere you look, there was a muff punt in the end zone
In
where the guy
Detroit.
tried to run it out. Mm-hmm. Which punter was that? That was Detroit?
Yeah, it was Detroit Lions. Sam Martin, their original punter, is an all-pro punter. He's really good. Got hurt. He's out for a few weeks. They got a new guy in. He gets a snap when he's backed up in his end zone, drops it, gets the corner, gets some free time, chooses not to punt at that point, which he would have had to repunt because there was guys down the field, but still gets it away, tries to make a run for it, and he's dead. That's what happened to him. Detroit Lions.
Cleveland had a blocked punt.
Yep, first points of the season for the Steelers was a blocked punt right off of Colquitt's foot.
Yep, receivers were dropping them all over the field. There was the Bills kicker had a makeable field goal, and I think he's new as well. Pardon me for not knowing his name. He's on someone's fantasy team, but the thing came off his foot, dead ball straight, and then hooked like a wiffle ball, and it was so makeable. Is this all because you can't live practice? I mean, I feel like a lot of the sloppiness you see in week 1 now is because practice time is so limited. They're like, offensive guys aren't hitting anybody. Defenses aren't tackling anybody. There was strip sacks all over the place.
You got to remember also, like, there was one cut. So there was only one time for a team to come together after a cut. So they're still sloppy as shit. I don't know about the timing of tackling, though, AJ. I don't know anything about that.
No, I think that's the biggest like misconception that they have no time. The coaches have no time with their players. They can't practice anymore. Yeah, they have plenty of time. Trust me. Coaches will sit there and tell you because coaches live their 19 hours a day and are trying to avoid their family. So they want all the time they can with the players. But you get plenty of time. You hit enough. The number one thing a team can do is go into your season healthy. Don't go in all banged up and hurt some of your stars by trying to be tough guys in practice and do an Oklahoma drill. That's 1965. Guys,
it's all the old meatheads that talk about that get on TV. They're like, but we used to do 3-a-days. Yeah, but y'all motherfuckers were slow too. Nowadays, everybody's running 4.2s and 4.3s. The hits are much faster and heavier. There ain't no 4.3 running 3-a-days and getting hit. It just shit ain't happening anymore.
Yeah, they didn't have off-season workouts either. They came in. They went to training camp to get in shape for the season. Yeah. Now you come in. I don't know. I know Pat had to do a lot of you said like colonics, all kind of stuff to make weight in training camp when you showed up.
Yeah, I did a colonic a cut once. Back in the day, I used to be on the hydroxy cut plan until I learned that it's terrible for you and it could be tainted. I would have to cut weight because my first weigh-in, I didn't want it to be embarrassing. That's the only reason why. It was strictly because of optics.
Okay. Did the colonic did you lose a couple pounds on that?
Well, yeah, I lost 3.5 pounds. I guess I had some stuff still backed up. For those of you that don't know what that is, basically water gets shot up inside of you and tries to clean your innards where there's supposed to be 9 to 10 pounds of shit, it said. And let me tell you this, why I needed it. Because I was 9 to 11 pounds over the weight I should have been. And it was about 6 days until training camp started. So I Googled, I need to lose 9 to 11 pounds. And this thing popped up. I went into some like super hipster, super hippie little massage parlor down in the back alley. They had all these candles on. They were telling me how healthy this was. Had a real therapeutic feel. And then I got penetrated by a hose with water and I lost 3.5 pounds and I still needed to lose 6 more. I was fucked. It was a bad situation. I was fucked literally and physically when it came to the weight that I needed for the overweight thing. So
was it as unpleasant as it? I imagine that felt.
Yeah, it was terrible. Right. It was absolutely terrible. You're forcing yourself to just shit, and it's just not. I mean, it's a very interesting experience. And if you don't lose the proper amount of weight that you need to lose, it's all for naught. And it was just one of those moments where you look in the mirror and you're like, yeah, I got penetrated today. And it didn't work out for me, But the guys stay in shape. OTAs this summer, there is no more break. Guys are in shape now, so training camp isn't a get in shape time. It's a, hey, let's put our team together, figure out our fucking plays time.
Did they at least make it, romantic?
Yeah,
Were
yeah.
they at least sort of affectionate?
There was candles,
kind of give you the reach around while they're doing it?
No, I was in a room all alone. I guess a friend was supposed to come support. They said normally they had like 2 chairs. It was like a waiting room in the room, like to watch this thing happen. And they had candles on. There was some music, It wasn't like fuck music. It was like a massage calm music. You know what I mean?
It was like chicka chicka wow.
Yeah, it wasn't that. It wasn't like a prepare yourself to get penetrated. It was like a hey, let's relax and have a good time here thing.
Wait, did you sit on like a bottle type thing, or did someone insert something?
Yeah. Well, it was a machine. It was a machine, AJ. It wasn't somebody.
So you like hovered on top of like a toilet seat type thing, and then it just all of a sudden and started going up in there?
Yeah, you had to put it in though. It was like a shit. It was a water jet though, so it wasn't really like an object. It was a water. It was like a super bidet. It was like a super duper bidet. That happened. It was an interesting moment, AJ.
Yeah, there's a recurring theme on the show, and it's water going up Pat McAfee's ass.
But I think people don't understand the amount of work I went through to really get in shape. That body that I would showcase, that body that I would showcase in 4K TV and all white. The whole fucking body was just in a pair of white spandex on 4K television. After November, after Thanksgiving, I haven't ran a sprint in about 3 months. I had to put work into that. I really had to sacrifice, Jerry. I had to make things happen.
It would just seem to me you can just buy that over-the-counter stuff like they gave to Harry and Dumb and Dumber. Just make you crap it out the natural way, right? Like start at the top and force it down instead of start at the bottom and try to force it up and down.
Well, a plunger has been working since the beginning of time, Jerry, and I think that was the method that they were attempting to do there. I think that was the method. But the colonic drink that you guys do when you get older, that stuff, the minerals. I know guys that used to drink that the night before weigh-ins. The guys that they need to lose a quick 3.5, 4 pounds, they drink that and just not sleep.
It's brutal. Picture that there are a hot and cold knob on your hip, and you just turn them both open, and it just gushes out for 24 hours.
Yikes!
You're never not within 5 feet away from the bowl. You're gonna find out.
That's what I needed to do, though. I should have done that the day before the weigh-ins. That's what I should have done. I went the opposite way. It would involve
hippies and some beaded curtain and some guy like who smells of patchouli, and I bet he was wearing like wire glasses with pink lenses.
It was very earthy tones he was wearing. Very earthy tones. It was very relaxed. No shoes, I think. I think the guy was barefoot, too. It was a real clean operation, Jerry. Let's move on. Is there not other NFL games to talk about? Jesus Christ.
And if I can quickly introduce a little bit of real world into this next game, because I know that no one's going to ever say, hey, honey, I want to know what's going on in the world. Turn in that podcast with them three fellers talk about football. But as we're doing this, Florida is just on the finishing touches of getting a giant low-pressure Category 4 knee to the yam bag. And briefly, I just want to say this. America has a lot to answer for, okay? We gave the world toddler beauty pageants and fat people in electric scooters cutting line at Disney World and Walmart, the Kardashians or whatever. But when things go sideways, we're the people you want to have on the scene. Americans are stepping the fuck up in Houston. They're doing it now in Florida. The fact that there's been tragic loss of life, but it hasn't been massive, like cataclysmic and widespread, is just because we've got a country full of badasses, whether it's the Cajun Navy, the FEMA people, the Marines that are on the scene, and I just
30 million,
that.
The 30 million from J.J. Watt. I mean, that's a country coming together for the. It sucks that it's happening, but it's been beautiful to watch America come together around this. And it's going to take years, obviously, to rebuild, and so much money, and people lost everything, and it's terrible. But it's really cool to watch a country come together over something. Really cool.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, AJ.
No, it is. You're right, 100%. How it's still going on though. That's the crazy thing. You turn on it, it's like the storm keeps moving up into different parts of Florida, all over Texas. There's multiple storms with different names coming in from all over the world. It seems like. But the one thing though that is shocking, Pat, we saw all the greatest in mankind through rough times like this, but for some reason, all of that energy could not propel the Houston Texans to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I got a text from AJ Hawk today. I got a text from AJ Hawk, or as an email, I don't know. I bet heavy on Houston. I bet heavy on Houston. I was like, here we go. Emotional breakout game. The spread was only 5. Houston's about to win by 400. J.J. Watt gets introduced. The roof goes off the place. He's swinging around the flag. I mean, I was like, here we go. But this is a lock of the century. Boy, Jacksonville, they got Florida on their back, too. There's a lot of things happening in Florida. I didn't think about that. This was emotion versus emotion. This was a big game. And, boy, Jacksonville looked like a football team, didn't they? I mean, I've lost to Jacksonville before, and it was not a good day. Not a good day at all. Like, you felt terrible whenever that happened. The flight home from London after we lost to him was a nightmare. Like, what? We're in another country. We lost to Jacksonville. This is a bad day, but they look like a good football team. They look good.
Oh, yeah. I was expecting the bounce, too. I sort of took Jacksonville out of the equation because they were going to be missing most of the storm, whereas Houston, I mean, you've spent weeks with your fan base up to their second story of their homes, with crocodiles and shit in there. And you mentioned his goal was what, to raise a $500,000? He
200,000.
Is that the number right now?
200,000 was his goal, and now he's at 30 million.
Yeah, and when he came out of there, I said, "This is going to be like this is going to be the Saints after Katrina." A more recent example, the Red Sox in 2013 after the marathon. The Yankees going to the World Series in 2001. I thought it was going to be like that. I didn't take Tom Savage into account, apparently. And I know he loves the people of Houston as much as everybody. He agrees they're all God's children, but he's just bad.
Like, what's going on? Deshaun Watson is your They were all in on Tom Savage, too. All in. And everybody knew Bill O'Brien would pull the trigger on a quarterback. I watched him play 3 quarterbacks in one game, I think, against us. But it was so crazy that he hung on. Because I think Deshaun Watson's obviously the future, right? They invested in him. They invested in Brock Osweiler. That didn't go well. They traded him. And then they invested in Deshaun Watson. Tom Savage, I don't know what happened out there. Because I love Houston. They need an offense.
Well, what do you do? Like they pulled him what after the second quarter?
First half, yeah.
At halftime, they had 55 total yards.
So you pull him now. So now you have to stick with Watson, correct?
Have
the rest of the year?
Have to. Can't put him back in. Can't put Savage back in. Can't.
So why did Savage start then?
That's what I'm saying. What the fuck were they doing?
Great point. Well, I actually thought that they weren't going to make the move just because it was a disaster back there. I mean, in fairness to Savage, Calais Campbell had 3.5 sacks.
Calais.
That is the That is the franchise record for Jacksonville. They've been in existence since what, like 1990, I think, 5. And no one's ever had 3.5 sacks in a game. This guy did his first time out. Talk about a guy who is earning his $60 million. But I was saying you can't put Watson in there behind this. It's like a bread riot every time he goes back to pass.
A bread riot. Did you hear that, AJ? A fucking bread riot, he just said.
What is that?
What is a bread? Like, what are we doing here?
You know, like in some third world country when there's food available and everyone just rips each other to shreds to get it. That's a thing. Wikipedia it, guys.
So it'd be like a rice and beans riot. Like that's what you eat if you don't have money. Like I love rice and beans. I eat it a lot, and it's one of the cheapest, most healthy meals you can have.
Okay.
Jesus! Don't go on a pitch for rice and beans. They didn't sponsor shit.
Then to make you guys happy, I'll say, okay, it's like a prison break back there.
Okay,
I don't know. Just trying to think of a different metaphor.
I like that a lot, though. I'm gonna enter that into my diction, and I'm gonna drop it in random times, and I'm just gonna see how it plays. I'm gonna see how it goes. Bread riot, a fucking riot, a fucking bread riot. Calais Campbell's a monster, though. I got a chance to party with him. He's a good dude. Good time. He's from the U, I think. Was a monster in Arizona. He's 6'8". He's like a real life avatar too. He's a freak athlete. And then he signed with Jacksonville. I knew he's a leader too. He's a guy that I think the team will like. So,
and the history of paying a ton of money on a pass rusher like him is not really good.
Especially in Jacksonville too. They did it just a couple years ago. I mean, Jacksonville has had a lot of misses. Tom Coughlin's though hopefully going to do something for him. Houston was the early favorite though in the AFC South. Now it's got to be Tennessee. I mean, Tennessee, I guess they were probably the favorite. Houston was picked too though. Now the bottom of the AFC South looks like it's going to be battling pretty heavily just to see who's behind Tennessee.
Is Jacksonville that good though, or is it just that Houston couldn't protect anybody?
You got to compare the AFC South. The Colts just lost 47-9 to the Rams. So you got Houston, Jacksonville, Colts, and then the Tennessee Titans, who played. Mariota looked great. He looked really good. He looked athletic, but the Raiders looked better. But I'm excited to see what happens in the AFC South. I mean, the Texans were supposed to compete with Jacksonville, and that was an ass beating. They only got to play one more time, and if Jacksonville makes a pretty good run, I mean, they're in the playoffs. They're dancing.
Yeah,
which would be wild.
Fournette had 100 yards and a touchdown too against it, and Houston's defense is legit. They were really good last year. Fournette's obviously a stud. Bortles didn't have like a monster day or anything. He played well enough to win, but I mean, you can't call Jacksonville a powerhouse. But the question is like, if Deshaun Watson, let's say he does have a lot of like rookie struggles, like you would behind the line, like they showed week 1, like what happens to the Texans, and then also. Think about the relationship between the offense and the defense in Houston. Like that's real, where you try to like you hold off, like you try to give them every chance possible. I was lucky enough that I always had amazing offenses, but I've seen it to where you can begin to resent
real beef.
If you're think about it, if you're a defense and you're just pitching like the whole game, you're just grinding, they have 3 points and you just cannot. It's 3 and out. First off, you're not getting any rest as a defense, and it's like, what do we have to do to win this game? Like we literally have to pitch a shutout, which is so tough to do in the NFL. There'll be some real tensions in the locker room if that goes on for 8 or 9 weeks.
Jerry, in the NFL, and I'm sure in college too, the offense and defense are two different teams. They're very two different complete operations. I mean, meetings are different, practices are different. They are two complete different units basically on Sunday coming together. I mean, that's kind of what it is.
Sure.
And I've seen, like, I enjoyed, that's why I like Bruce Arians so much, because Bruce Arians was the offensive coordinator. He would talk shit to the defense, right? It was like two different, Bruce Arians was serving as our interim head coach because Chuck had leukemia, and he would be talking shit on our starting safety. And I was like, this is awesome. Like, this is what it fucking is. And Houston's been like that for a few years now, where their defense has been dominant and the offense can't figure it out. That has to be, I mean, I don't know but the Colts, they're saying Luck ain't going to be back for like 4 or 5 weeks. Jay Glazer said this morning it's looking like it's 3 to 4. Florio on Football Night in America said it's probably not going to be till October. He hasn't practiced yet. I don't know how he gets back before that. That AFC South is up. Mariota is just going to run away with it, and you're in the playoffs. And if you can get hot in the playoffs and you're healthy, you can fucking win. Tennessee's got to be real excited about what happened. What's happening right now?
And riddle me this about the Colts then, because they make a trade for a quarterback, someone else's third stringer, hours before the season begins. If Tolson continues to stink up the place, can you switch a quarterback who's just getting into
Brissett's
town?
Team it's Brissett's team now. For sure, they're going to start him. They have to. He got in and he threw the deep ball to Dante Moncrief. They have to. I mean, unless they want Colts fans just to lose their mind, because every comment, like the local paper tweets something or I tweet something, every comment is like, they wanted Morrison in, Stephen Morrison was a backup. He was from University of Miami before Scott Tolzien. Scott Tolzien's a very smart guy, so he can run a defense in practice. He can pick things up. He's a very intelligent guy. He probably breaks down film well with Andrew Luck. He's a suitable backup quarterback. But I don't know. I think Jacoby Brissett's going to be starting from now on. He might be really fucking good. Who knows? It was garbage time stats, but he moved the ball right down the field when the offense could. Now that's not. Wade Phillips has a great defense, and it was garbage time. But who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah. See, he looked good to me, but I have a real streak going in this Patriots offseason about being wrong about everything. He looked so good in that fourth preseason game. They played him all 4 quarters. And they trade him in a way that makes you think there's only one explanation why they would let him go, and it's because they're just not sold on him. They just don't think he's the heir apparent to Garoppolo. Garoppolo moves on, and now we've got Brady's backup. I think they just didn't think he was the answer, even though they like him. They're high on him. I mean, he came recommended by Bill Parcells and Charlie Weiss. Hardworking, bright kid, but, and I the kind of guy you pull for, it's just weird to me that they would move on from him after just 1 year in the system, basically.
But I mean, we're talking about their offense. How about their defense? They gave up 46 to the LA Rams and Jared Goff, which is by no means has arrived as the next heir apparent stud quarterback. So he may turn into that guy, but he didn't look like it in his short time last year. It looks like they got some issues all over the place, and Andrew Luck, when he's in, is good enough to cover up for a lot of mistakes. Now, until I don't know when he's back, but if you say they go 1-4, 1-5 or something, and then Andrew comes in, do you
risk it,
Andrew?
Do you risk it? Let him get healthy, get back in. Who knows? Because you just paid him $140 million for 2 unhealthy seasons. It's a very interesting investment. But listen, what if you were LA Rams? Now listen, there ain't nobody at that fucking game, Jerry. There people on Twitter were like,
brutal.
People are like, well, that's 100,000 seat place, so it's probably like 50,000. No, they looked like there was like 20, 30,000 maybe in that maybe 20,000. I don't even know if that. But you're a 31-year-old head coach in Los Angeles. McVay's got to be living a life out there. He's got to be having a good time.
Yeah, and a city of I don't know what the population is. It's the second most populous city in America. It's probably 18 million people there, and you draw less than the Philadelphia Eagles do for a training camp practice. It's embarrassing. And what they should do, you're in Hollywood, just the stadium, don't build a stadium, build a sound studio with green screen. You know what I mean?
I thought you were going to say pay
Films.
fill-ins. I thought you were going to say pay actors or fill-ins. You want the complete opposite. Put a green screen up around the entire field. Let's fill
and
this.
then just project a crowd in there. Just project a massive, project a 300,000 seat stadium, because who cares? It's Hollywood. You're pretending anyway. For 22 years, they had no teams. They went from 2 teams to 0, and nobody batted an eye. They don't care. They've got UCLA. They've got USC. They're not going to embrace the Rams. And the Rams, what you saw, even when they build this new state-of-the-art palace, it's going to look exactly like that.
They have the number one show in town is USC and Sam Darnold. It 100% is, and even then, if they don't light it up, they're not going to sell the place out. But
Josh Rosen, stop disrespecting Josh.
Come on.
He's the Rosen one, cuz. Hot tubs in the dorm room. He's the hot ticket in Southern California. The LA Rams just got to hope that the Rosen one falls off. That's what they got to hope.
Were you calling me cuz? Was that serious or were you sarcastic?
Hey, cuz. Hey, what the statement beforehand or the actual cuz itself?
When you called me cuz like someone would say, "Hey man" or "bro."
Yeah, cuz. I'm a cuz.
Okay,
guy.
so that's like in your diet. That's like legit though.
Yeah, that's like on a regular basis. You're going to get called cuz by me on a regular basis. You just need to understand that that's going to happen. That's something that you need to digest, and maybe you should add to your vocabulary so people will take you a little bit more serious. That's what I think. I think you should think about doing that.
Do you have one of those, AJ? Like, dude? Or...
No, I mean, dude.
Man.
Yeah, dude.
How many are really acceptable at this point? Cuz at least seems to be a better alternative to bro.
Thank you, Jerry.
If Pat can say cuz and he doesn't he's not laughing while he's saying it, more power to him. I just can't pull it off. But what did the kids say? What did the kids want to grind some gears, cuz? What did the meth head say to you at Ohio State?
The guy asked me if I wanted to gear up, cuz.
It's amazing. I love it.
Gear up, cuz? I don't know what that means, cuz, but I don't think so.
But pass it over here. I'll give it a shot.
But what do you got? No, I didn't do the gear up. I found out what that was later by another frat bro, because I got asked again. I was like, I don't know what that is.
Fraternity, bro.
Fraternity. It's a fraternity.
And was it in fact meth?
No, it was just man-made tobacco, man-made nicotine. So I guess kind of like I smoked spice there for a little bit after I was arrested. Because the NFL started, they tested me 8 times a month because I was in a substance abuse program, so I couldn't do anything. So usually it's an annual test. And then once you get into the substance of abuse program, it's 8 tests a month. So I couldn't smoke anymore, and I couldn't drink because I got an alcohol arrest. They told me if I had any alcohol in my system, it was a fail too. So I had 0. And then one of my teammates was like, yo, cuz, some spice. You should try this spice. And I tried it out. And it was at that moment I was like, this is some man-made shit. This is meth for real. I got to stop. I'm in a bad spot in my life. I just embarrassed my family, and now I'm smoking meth in my house. It's a very weird moment, Jerry.
Now, real spice, the stuff they call spice, that's the legal synthetic pot that you can buy in like a gas station or whatever?
No, it's not legal anymore, I don't think, because they were blaming that for when the kids were zombieing and like eating people and shit with the bath salts. They were like, I only tried it a couple times, and boy, it was a weird moment in my life. I felt real bad.
Someone told me, you know what? Yeah, you can ingest it, but you can also ingest Drano, and you'd be better off doing that. I don't judge. Again, I'm strictly an OxyContin guy. How about you? You guys good with that?
Stop. No.
Helps me get through the day. You know what does help me get through the day?
Don't
do OxyContin. It's wrong. A good night's sleep, fellas.
Wait. I think just for the sponsor's purpose, we should probably give a 2-minute conversation here after the OxyContin to go into the bed. I don't know, Jerry. Maybe you just lead right into it. I don't know. It's up to you, buddy. What are you thinking?
Yeah, but I did the don't do it.
Oh,
thing.
yeah, you're right.
So this actually was a cautionary tale. This was basically like a PSA. Where did you learn how to do this? From you. I did it from watching you.
Jesus.
Don't do drugs.
Jesus.
No. And you just shouldn't, kids.
Yeah, we're all on team no drugs.
That's right. Mr. T was right about that stuff. However, what you should do is get a decent night's sleep. Again, you don't want to be tossing and turning, drenched, covered in sweat. You can run the AC or a fan all night long to keep cool. But who wants to do that? Who wants to spend that money when all you need is a Casper mattress? Fellas, Casper's 2 high-tech foams guarantee you have a great night's sleep. Sleeping cool, comfortable, and fully supported every night. And here's the thing. It ships free in a box so small. There's not going to be a big moving truck. A delivery van will show up. You wouldn't believe that there's a mattress in there. I ordered one. It was a queen size. This thing is not much bigger than, say, a water cooler. You roll it out. You cut open the packaging carefully. And this thing the size of a sleeping bag turns into a flipping queen size mattress.
What?
Yeah, no word of a lie, guys. Sleeping on a mattress is the best way to try it. So what Casper does is they let you try it risk-free for 100 nights in your own home. 100 nights. If you don't love it, they come pick it up and refund you everything. Again, no questions asked. It's a million times better than going to a store with all your clothes on and laying downtown on top of the bed with like an idiot that doesn't prove anything. Try it for 100 nights free. It's no wonder Casper was named one of Fast Company's 50 most innovative brands of 2017. So sleep cool and comfortable every night like I do, and like the Irish Rose loves this thing. True thing, guys. She just started teaching for the first time, getting her own classroom. She is stress balling like you read about. The one saving grace in all of this while she's getting established in this new job is she sleeps like a baby every night. So go to Casper.com and use Laces for $50 towards the purchase of your mattress. That's Casper.com. Code is Laces, and get $50 towards the purchase of your mattress. Casper.com. Terms and conditions apply. We've been remiss, guys, by not talking about AJ Hawk's team. Was probably in the biggest game of the weekend. I mean, two powerhouse teams.
Can I drop some breaking news real quick?
Shoot.
Ben Roethlisberger is now the winningest quarterback in Cleveland Browns stadium history. That's since 1999. He's the winningest quarterback in their stadium.
Have you seen those shirts that Cleveland fans have made with, pick a generic quarterback, and maybe it's like Tim Couch, and then listed down it is all the quarterbacks that have started since they've been to Cleveland, and it goes from your shoulders down to your calves. It's insane.
I think Kizer's going to be good, though. He looked composed in there. I think he might be good. I don't know about all of Cleveland, but I think he's going to be good. I think they have a shot. If they can stick with him, if he stays healthy, if everything comes together, I think they have a shot. Did you see the game, AJ?
Yeah, one thing I think that gives him a chance that a lot of those guys in the past didn't. They invested heavily in the O-line. They paid some big money, brought J.C. Treader over. I played with him in Green Bay. The guard, I'm blanking on him, from Cincinnati, who I played with as well. Oh, Kevin Zeitler, he's a stud, one of the strongest guys I've ever been around. Joe Thomas is still, so he has a line in front of him. I mean, they gave up, as we said, they gave up a block punt for a touchdown basically to start the game, and they still almost beat the Steelers, which is pretty amazing for the Cleveland Browns, no question.
Yeah, I'm with you on Kizer, and I'm a Notre Dame guy, and I was not a fan of him necessarily. He was the quarterback on a really failed season that was a disaster from the jump. But, you see Joe Thomas tried to name the 18 quarterbacks that he has pass blocked for. Yeah, and your heart bleeds for the man, and you go, here's some hope for him.
And every single year, they talk about trading him. So every year he's on the trading block, and then he never gets traded. I don't know if he wants to be traded at this point, or I would assume he does. I don't know.
That's my thing.
Publicly, he doesn't probably, but go ahead, AJ.
No, don't you think I would imagine he's not broken, he wouldn't be brokenhearted if he was traded. There was talk of him being traded to Denver at some point last year.
Colts at one point a couple years ago.
There's no way, if he is getting traded, it's most likely he's being traded to a contender. So, yeah, he definitely, I'm sure, has loyalty. He loves the people. He loves living in Cleveland. I know he has a family. But at the same time, he has to be a little bit torn, it would be really great to go to a winner. It would you couldn't.
Losing is miserable.
Yeah, no matter how I understand. People won't believe me, but if someone's getting paid $1 billion tax free, but you're going 1-15 consistently, that still is rough day to day.
Miserable. Right. Losing in the NFL, winning and losing holds your happiness hostage. It's 100% true, because you're going to work at a miserable place if you lose, because everybody either thinks they're getting fired or they're the reason. You can't be happy. Nowadays with social media, you can't publicly be happy. So now you're miserable at work, where you're at 8 to 10 hours a day, and in public you can't be happy. So at home you're not happy. It's a miserable situation. And if you're at Cleveland, hopefully they start winning because their team looks good. But, boy, that's had to be a miserable workplace for a long time, man.
Positively. I have no problem believing that. And that's why you see guys towards the end of their careers just go to their agents and say, get me to
ring chase. Let me ring chase.
Chris Long did it last year. And Chris Long is a high draft pick and, had never been on a winner. And he told his agent, I don't care if I play for $5 a year. Get me to New England. He got a ring, and then, he bounced back, and hopefully he has a great season again. But imagine, though, Joe Thomas's position. Your job is it's not glorious. You don't get a lot of credit unless things go bad. You show up every game knowing you're not going to touch the ball or get your name mentioned on the PA system. And to lose under those circumstances just has to be just living
and be great,
just a waking hell,
and do your job well all the time. Like be great, like perennial All-Pro, great for a situation that's an interesting spot. That Packers-Seahawks game though was awesome to watch. AJ, do you keep up with them?
Yeah, oh yeah, I definitely watch them, and most of their games are the primetime games, whether it's the 4:25 or I think they're Sunday night next week against the Falcons. Yeah, it was.
Are you friends with a lot of guys there still? Yeah, because they keep a lot of people, right?
Yeah, I still talk to a lot of the guys back there. I actually officiated the wedding of one of the trainers you'll see on the sidelines with him. He has a nice, strong beard, Nate Weir. I did his wedding probably 4 years ago. But
wow, look at this guy, huh?
Hey, why not, man? All you got to do is go online, Universal Life Ministries. You can get ordained. That's me.
Yeah, it's free, Pat. I did it for some friends, but the certificate costs $7.99.
Yeah, but what's crazy about that game, if you watch, so I feel like when you watch, obviously I'm a homer, I'm biased because I was there and I know how great Aaron Rodgers is. It's almost like it's just a matter of time, like before he starts to turn it on, before he really turns on the juice. And he ended up having great stats and playing well, even though he had the weird pick six that got called back and
for the blocking it back.
Yeah, got kicked out of the game. Like it was a weird thing, but man, if you're the Seahawks. First off, the biggest thing that would have to be scary, the Packers defense is really good, but they had no running game. They brought in Eddie Lacy. There was nowhere to go, obviously. I think
is
Russell
Eddie Lacy good? Because I think I see Eddie Lacy as a good running back. And then whenever I hear he's losing weight, I'm like, okay, he's going to be fast. Now he's going to be even better. And today, Russell Wilson looked good on a lot of plays, by the way. I think Russell Wilson put that do-rag on a couple weeks ago for the Mayweather-McGregor fight. I think he's married to Future's baby mom. What's her name? Sierra? He's married to Sierra. Yeah. He's got his swagger back, I think. He made some great plays today. But Eddie Lacy didn't move. I don't think he moved the ball. I was like, I think this guy's going to be really good. Is he like a good day-to-day in practice at Green Bay? Was he like a good running back? A guy you'd be like, he's good, he's a superstar?
Yeah, Eddie's legit. He obviously, they always want him to lose weight. They always like these weight restrictions on him and get down. Like, I told Eddie, he has such great feet and he's really deceptively fast and he's so powerful. If he has a decent line in front of him, he's an absolute stud. He has great vision. He went to Alabama. Those guys come in from day one. They're ready to play. Like, you can put him in. Oh,
yeah, Trent Richardson. Oh, thanks. Yeah. We traded a first-rounder for him. Fucking Alabama.
I'm not sure what happened. That one is very confusing to me.
Yeah, how did that the move or the player?
And he was the number 3 overall pick.
Yeah,
I said he's going to be in the Smithsonian someday as the last top 10 running back pick. And now Ezekiel Elliot, now Leonard Fournette. I think it's not gone extinct, but he was just he probably had the talent of about a 4th rounder, and somehow he buffaloed everybody.
He was worth 2 first-rounders. He's the last running back that's ever going to be worth 2 first-rounders because we traded the next year first-rounder for him. So that guy's worth 2 first-rounders. I didn't really talk to him much. He wore his headphones a lot. He was like he was a nice guy when I talked to him as a person, but he's very standoffish, kind of alone. Didn't really he was an interesting cat, and boy, he did not run the ball well whenever he got the football. And if I was to, now that I'm in the betting game, Jerry, you know what I do? I bet games now. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh, yeah. For you, it's not even fair. It's like just printing money.
Yeah, right now I'm just printing money and giving it straight to my bookie. Yeah, because a lot of the shit that I assume is going to happen, I get the games right, just not the spread thing really gets me. Boy, I can pick a winner if we just go straight up. I'll pick a winner. The spread is really getting me in the ass, but I'm learning. And I'm only betting with the best devices in the best situations in the best things available. That's why I use BetDSi.com. BetDSi.com has been in business for over 20 years paying winners. A+ rated on sportsbook review sites. Use your sports knowledge to make some extra cash. It's what I'm trying to do right now. I've been making good bets. I've been making some money, but boy, I've been losing too, Jerry. I've been losing. But it's easy to use, mobile playing interface. Play, win, get paid. That's what you do. You play, you win, you get paid. You play good, they pay good. If you look good, you feel good. You feel good, you play good. You play good, they pay good. They pay good, you live good. You live good, you die good. Everybody wants to live good. That's all everybody wants to do is just live good and die good.
Yeah. And make money off of NFL Sunday.
Yeah, BetDSi.
Which apparently you seem to no longer be able to do.
Well, you can because BetDSi offers odds on everything football, include live betting and props as games are in action. BetDSi offers odds on pretty much everything else, to including all major sports. Get this: politics, Politics. That's what politics, reality TV, pretty much everything. Use promo code LacesOut25 and get a $25 free wager just for registering. If you decide to deposit, you will get a 200% bonus match on your money. 200%, 200%, 200%. How much, Jerry?
200%?
Bonus.
Which is like double, if my math is correct.
AJ, is that right? Is that right? Get the calculator?
I believe it is. I believe you're right, Jerry.
That's incredible.
Public school education.
I like that one a lot. Up there in Boston, too. You should have went to a private school. Maybe met a priest. Maybe get on that movie, Spotlight, or whatever the fuck it was called. I play there myself and recommend BetDSi if you want to add a little excitement to the games you're watching. Once again, go to BetDSi.com and use promo code LacesOut25 and get a free $25 wager on the house and 200% extra bonus when you deposit. That's LacesOut25 to get your free wager and start winning today. Go to BetDSi.com. It's the best business for the last 25 years. They're matching your money 200%. You're getting $25 extra. You can bet on politics and Laces Out. I mean, why wouldn't... I mean, curiosity killed the cat, but at this moment, curiosity should lead you to a betdsi.com to bet on everything you know and make some extra money.
You know, a couple things that I should have done from the outset is mention our social media accounts, at Laces Out Show on Twitter, at Laces Out Show on Instagram. Been posting a lot of hilarious crap. Follow us, keep up with that. Also, Pat, this is on me. I really should have come up with the kind of segments that we know AJ would like. Like last week when I extemporaneously threw out the word challenge flag and he jumped down my throat with cleats on. I think we got to do something like that. Like, okay, this is going to be Hit the A Gap with AJ Hawk. Hey, AJ.
Bread Riot. Bread Riot.
For 3 and out. And you're going to list your 3 things. Do some real, like, NFL Network type
some real
cheesy features.
Some real terrestrial radio stuff, since that's what you came from, right, Jerry?
Yeah, and if I had done something like that in Boston, I wouldn't have lasted a minute. They would have fired my ass. That shit flies.
This guy
Once in a while, I'm out of town.
Flag.
I listen to other radio, and it's all guys like, hey, we're the Morning Zoo, and we're here. We got AJ Hawk, AJ, and they play like a sound effect or something. Yeah, I will die before we do that.
I respect that about the Boston people, that they don't put up with that they see through it, and they're probably offended by that over the top fake garbage local radio that happens. But I don't mean to throw a challenge flag on you here, Jerry, but how about them Cowboys? They beat the Giants 19-3, man. Defense looked amazing. Offense looked legit.
Giants scored 3 points?
Yeah.
Again, NFC East. That game was
that's a Manning
in an alley with broken bottles and trash can lids. That was a physical game.
Not really. It was a football game, just played on the field, really.
Just standard 120-yard field, 53 and a third wide. There's 100 yards in the middle there with 2 10-yard end zones. It's a football game.
Last week I said to you guys that I think Janoris Jenkins is sneaky, the best cornerback in the league, and they just let him play. He plays on his own. He soloed against Des Bryant the entire game and had him smothered. I mean, I don't know what happened in the second half, but when I saw him, Des Bryant was frustrated. And that is, probably
I think that's a Des Bryant thing, right? Like Des Bryant gets frustrated. That's like Des. He's an incredible athlete, but I enjoy like when he chewed out the reporter in the middle of the locker room like that. When that story hit, I'm like, okay, Des, let him know about it. Let him know, Des. Let him know.
Yeah, Jerry, Des only caught 2 balls for the night, so they shut him down a little bit, but Dak played well. Zeke rushed for 100. Who knows? What's happening? So he got a temporary restraining order, so he's likely going to play this whole season, and then get suspended next year?
It's a Tom Brady situation. It's the same situation as the Tom Brady situation. This is Roger Goodell versus the NFLPA on him being the judge, jury, executor, everything like that. The NFLPA trying to fight it because the NFLPA negotiated it. It's on their ass that it's even in there to begin with, and now every time it happens, it's kind of exposing the contract for what it is. They're trying to fight it. He's going to get suspended a year from now because that ruling was in Texas. Roger Goodell will get a ruling in New York, which is like an NFL judge, and that shit will get overturned, and it'll be suspension next year.
But they didn't say that he can't be suspended. It's just the ruling came too late in the week or something, or is this how far down the road did they kick this can?
So many fucking lawyers.
Insane. Over a guy that should be your next face of the league. Some fresh blood coming in here, a guy who plays his ass off in a big market where everyone's football crazy, and you're going after him. Like, why? And by the way, Chris
Anderson's-
Collinsworth, thank you for pissing off an entire region yet again by in the middle of the game saying, well, Ezekiel Elliot, we're not going to talk about his situation. We're just going to talk about him on the field. Really? Because in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl against Seattle, you couldn't shut your yob about.
Oh, God. New England hates Roger Goodell again?
No. This is Collinsworth. Couldn't stop talking about the Patriots were driving to try to take the lead, and he was talking about Deflategate, but he won't talk about Ezekiel Elliott, where
these
you
New
really
England
should
fans
be saying how ridiculous
I
it is.
love how much you guys hate people over Deflategate. I love it. And this is you guys hating Collinsworth over Deflategate. I honestly respect it. The fact that they don't put up with corny bullshit in radio, and the fact that they can just hate somebody, flip a switch, bang, Collinsworth in the target, boom, Roger Goodell, Operation ClownFace, here's 60,000 of them. There's a bread riot for these motherfuckers in this town. I just love that everybody can hate something. I love that everybody can hate something on a switch. That's like the team environment atmosphere that you strive to have.
It's part of the fun of sports. And when people say you shouldn't be like that, then you know what? Then you shouldn't be following sports then. Go follow Broadway musicals. Go read novels.
Oh, Book of Mormon's really good, actually. Book of Mormon was not bad. I saw Hamilton. That one wasn't bad either. I think those are two really good shows that you should watch, Jerry.
I saw Book of Mormon. Took my lovely wife does musical theater, by the way, just so and I took her to see Book of Mormon. We loved it. I've heard Hamilton is basically just a high school play.
Did you know Hamilton's a black guy?
America.
Alexander Hamilton and George Washington were both black guys. I didn't know that until I watched the play.
Rap.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. His name is Alexander Hamilton, and he was a black guy. And George Washington was also African American, and I think Thomas Jefferson was in that movie. He and some French guy. They were all black. I didn't know that. I had no idea that was the case. That was wild to me.
The truth has finally come out.
They could really sing too. George Washington had a good baritone there. He really led into it. It was pretty awesome.
Anything else? We should be starting to get to the end of this thing. Anything that we missed? I would like to just throw this out there. We'd be remiss if we don't congratulate Antonio Cromartie on baby number 14.
Incredible.
He's had 8 since his vasectomy.
Is that not insane? Because I think the science says shouldn't be possible. Like his kids are leaping over, like without a bridge, they're just leaping over into the. Because I think if they cut off, it's like a moat where they lift the gate, like the thing.
Right, the bridge is out.
They lift
his tube
and his kids are just hopping over the fucking moat like they don't even need it. It's an incredible. These athletes, they're athletic sperm. Think about that, athletic sperm. I don't know how that he's created 14 probably professional athletes. I assume. I mean, especially these ones that are jumping after the vasectomy. Right. It's a scientific mystery.
It's like Christian Bale's Batmobile. How it can just leap through that waterfall into the.
I'm not wearing hockey pads. I'm not wearing hockey pads. You know what he says? Isn't that Batman? AJ, you watch movies?
Yeah, I don't really watch that sci-fi garbage though.
Batman?
I mean, I've seen Batman.
Sci-fi garbage Keaton. Batman?
I mean, like whatever Jerry referenced early in the thing. What was that movie you referenced that the kids watch?
North Dallas 40.
No.
Hunger Games?
I've never seen like Hunger Games or Star Trek or any of that stuff.
Don't worry about Hunger Games. Just Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger is Hunger Games. They just replaced him with a cute chick who doesn't say funny things when she kills people, like cut a guy in half and say, he had to split. Like, just watch. It's a much better movie. Just watch Running Game.
Now, Jerry, are you clipped?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I just wondered.
I kind of
He's got the Caucasian
the grain
sperm.
of Catholic teaching on that one, but
did you have to get I've had buddies that were diehard Catholic, and they had to get like their priest to like pardon them or give them like permission to get clipped.
Oh, no kidding. Nah, I didn't seek permission. It was one of those things where, it's
where
like
in the Bible does it say that? Hold on, where in the Bible does it say thou shalt not cut off kid's bridge without permission, consent from a guy that wears a robe? What is that in the Bible, Jerry?
It's in Catholic teaching. It's not in the Bible. Like not everything is in the index. It's just the church policy or whatever. But a lot of this stuff, it's just easier to ask forgiveness than permission.
Oh, yeah, you guys
it's like
go into that little
when you're out with
box.
your wife and you decide, I'm going to have one more beer. She might be mad, but I'm not going to call and say, can I have one more beer?
Yeah, like, oh, no, Mrs. Irish Rose Thornton. I was just their Uber driver for these 22-year-old girls doing meth and playing with each other.
And kissing each other and playing with each other's nipples. I got kicked out. I had to wait. No, honey, I had to wait an extra hour just to stay outside. It looked like I was trying to get back in. I wasn't. I had their phones. It was a big misconception. But it was just forgiveness instead of permission, of course.
No sins were committed on that one. That's all. That I don't need to ask permission.
Amen, Jerry.
Yeah.
Amen.
Anybody else? You guys having? You guys decaf? You guys get snipped? Is there any?
No.
Is there your unleaded gas?
I have no kids too. I feel pretty good. AJ's got 15 of them. How many kids you got? You said?
I have 4.
Yikes.
I'm currently I am supposed to be shopping for a doctor right now. So yeah, I'm looking to get clipped, but I have a feeling that I could still have a few after post-op.
He feels like he has athletic sperm. That's what he just said there, Jerry. He said he feels like his sperm will be able to bridge the gap and make the leap after. He said it's a waste of time. Why are we smoldering my my kid tube? And why am I icing my balls?
If you get fixed, AJ, and still are able to produce like Antonio Cromartie, I will give you $100 out of my own wallet.
Wow.
Thank
a crisp
you.
$100 bill. Just that's the challenge.
I thought you were
going to
say
Antonio
high-end
Cromartie
job.
challenge.
I thought
you know
were
what I
gonna
would
say
do?
a
I
hand
would
job.
I would open that my Yelp app and search for a different doctor if that was the case.
Yeah, good idea. Cromartie's
Like,
got to be
honestly.
very upset about this doctor.
He can't. Is it true, Jerry? Has he had 8 since the operation?
It might have been 8 previous and
it's
6
3.
since, but he's up to 14. That much
He's had
Obviously-
twins since being snipped. He's had 2 of them made it.
Yeah, exactly. He's just his sperm is so weapons grade. It's so industrial strength. Like his
got
wife
sperm.
Tarika now is talking about having her tubes tied. And my point is, she could have her entire uterus flown to the Arctic Circle and like have oil rigs drill it down into the permafrost. And as soon as he woke up in the morning, she'd be pregnant with twins again.
I will find
he's that
you.
good.
That's what his sperm said to her. I will find you. I will. They will find it. It'll go down to the. But all right, enough of Cromartie's kids. He's got a lot of them. He's an impressive. He's a good guy, by the way. He was a teammate of mine there for a little bit. Taught me how to play dominoes. Good guy. That was on said flight back from London after the Jacksonville Jaguars lost.
Did he get you pregnant?
I do think there was a chance of that happening, but even though it was a long flight, not long enough for the pregnancy, but maybe next time. I think maybe it'll happen next time.
All right. Anything else we missed, AJ?
I think I'm good, man. No challenge flags for me tonight, so I feel good about it. I enjoyed it. Thank you very much, Jerry. Sorry I forgot your name for 9 seconds, but I picked it right back up. So yeah, it's good job. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate you driving the ship.
No, it's a pleasure. Pat, what did we screw up? What did we miss?
Well, I really enjoy the fact that if every time AJ messes something up, he just blames CTE. I think that'll be a good thing that we can get behind. I think that's something I would like to promote. I would. Like when somebody makes a mistake in life, they just go, CTE. You know, like it's just like it's a blame. It's a perfect blame for something.
And you can blame the meth that you smoked at a fraternity party.
Yikes.
Don't call it a frat.
It's a fraternity. I learned that I really enjoy this. This is like a little vacation for my mind. I get a chance to chat with 2 hilarious dudes. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you to our sponsors, too. Thanks for sticking around with us. That's awesome. Really the only way this works. And I want to let you know this. AJ Hawk is a living legend in real life, but in Columbus, Ohio, when he walks through, these drunk little of-age kids lose their mind to the AJ Hawk. And it's did you know they retired 47, the number he wore in college, to a guy named something Harley. Harley what?
Chick Harley.
Chick Harley. It was his junior year. AJ still wore the number. After like the game they retired it at, AJ was wearing the number. He was like, yeah, not yet, buddy. Let me finish this out. He wore a retired number for 2 more years. AJ Hawk is a gangster. He's a good dude, and I'm lucky to be on the show with you, AJ. And you old balls, I'll tell you what, I strive to be like you when I grow up. I really do. I really do.
I strive to be like me when I grow up, too. I'm still trying to figure this out. But it was a blast. Again, we're going to be doing this every Monday. Again, we're at Lace's Show on Twitter and on Instagram. Thanks to the sponsors. Thanks to you guys for making us number 2, even though it's really all us. We're the ones who are staying sober on a Sunday for this.
Yep.
Clear eyes, empty bladder, can't lose. It's at official AJ Hawk. It's at Pat McAfee Show. I'm Jerry Thornton 1. Thanks again, and we will talk to you on Monday.